Well, first to start we will create a folder called Snake Game. Now enter the folder and open VS Code or any IDE you have. We create HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files. Now we enter the basic HTML syntax. In the title I write the name of the game. And then we connect the CSS file with the link tag and the JavaScript file with the script tag to the HTML. We create a gameboard tag for the Snake World with the gameboard ID. Let's go to the CSS file. We set the default properties in the browser to 0. I divide the body tag of my site vertically into 2 parts. And for the snake tag, I specify an area and background. Let's see the result in time. Snake World is built and needs better graphics. Since we have divided the body tag into 2 parts, top and bottom, we create a div tag with the control ID. Inside this tag, we create a label called speed and a selector to specify the speed value. I specified the numbers and the speed value. The user sees the numbers 1 to 5 to set the speed, and in the programming and speed setting section, we need the option tag values. These are the speeds in milliseconds. Add 2 buttons to start the game and stop the game. Add the selected attribute to the third option tag so that the initial default speed value is 200 milliseconds. So now that we've come to the JavaScript part, we'll define the IDs of the desired tags as variables. We'll define a box with a unit of 20. And we'll also define a few variables without initializing them. We define a function for the purpose of initialization. We specify the initial coordinates of the snake, the initial direction of the snake's movement, the initial position of the food, and the movement status. Naturally, the snake should not move during initialization until the start button is pressed. We also create a special function for the location of the food and use it in the initialization section. We create a function for the wall. Inside the function we put a loop. And we use the box variable that we defined for the wall unit. We create a div tag and add a class inside it with the name wall. We specify the position of the wall. And finally we add its other children. This was just the top wall. Now we create the bottom wall as before, with a different height coordinate. Now we create the right and left walls as well. We create a function called draw in which the positions of the snake head and food elements are created and randomly generated. Inner HTML at the beginning of the function is also used so that the snake head does not duplicate during movement and there is only one. Now we set the direction buttons to move the snake using the keyboard event. We also create an update function to make sure that the changes are applied and the previous movement parameters have changed. This also applies to generating new fruit after eating it. We define a condition for the snake to collide, and if it collides, the game will end to provide the ability to create a new game. Using addEventListener, we create a function to start the game and a function to stop the game. Finally, we call the initialization function here to execute it. We didn't style the elements we created in JavaScript, so we'll go to the CSS file to style elements like the snake head, food, and wall. So let's see what the result was. We see a problem. The game doesn't start and the walls, food, and snake heads are missing. I think I should have called the draw function in the initializeGame function because the coordinates of the snake's head and food should also be in the initialization. Now we see that the playground has been created and initialized, but the game does not start and the start button does not work. Create a function called GameLoop here and use the update and draw functions inside it. The reason is because the game needs a loop of repeated updates when running, and in each update it wants new coordinates of the snake and food. Now the start button works. The direction change buttons work too. Food also appears when eaten and the snake grows. The wall is also detected as a damage. The speed can be increased. The speed can also be decreased. But the stop button does not work. We change the event condition to stop. The stop button is also fixed. Now we need to make some graphical changes to the game. First we start with the playground. We go into the CSS file. And we reference the ID related to the game world. And we add the style to it. The style has been changed successfully. I downloaded images for the wall and food to add them. I'll go back to the CSS file to add them. Now we move on to the snake's head, and since it's a still image, it needs to be rotated to change the direction of the keys. We see that it changes, but the snake's body remains fixed and does not rotate. We will convert the control buttons into a modal and hide the stop button to use the spacebar shortcut. Now that the control is converted to modal, we will enlarge the game image. Well, the logic is done and only the graphic part remains. Since the video is long, I have already written them for you and will only show you the changes in the file. So here's the result. The start and stop buttons are the same as the space bar on the keyboard. You can also stop with the ESC button. There was still work to be done, but the video would have been longer. If you liked it, be sure to like it. Tell me in the comments section if you would like me to do the same with ReactJS and NextJS or make the game 3D. I would appreciate it if you follow me. Good luck.